Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to what is finally the Chaos TV Challenger Series. This is STO, Salade, Tomate, Oignon, if I pronounce that correctly, versus the Lowland Lions. I'm Nature, and I'm joined by Pulse.
I'm glad you said that name, Nature, because there's no chance in hell I'm ever going to try and attempt that. But we are into Champion Select picks and bans. Ziggs and Renekton are already banned out. I will be spectating over stream for the duration of Champion Select, so forgive me as I will be slightly behind you. But some of these bans, well, they're pretty common. There's a lot of blanket bans at the moment. You can just ban out and be happy with them being off of the table here, Nature. And there's very little to comment on. Shyvana, Dr. Mundo, they're just extremely good tanky bruisers. Can be played in the jungle, can be played in the top lane. Same with Renekton. Ziggs is great at countering, pushing. He's just a very strong champion. They're just very standard run-of-the-mill bans.
Yeah, nothing really too spectacular here. Lowland Lions are banning out the Kassadin. Well, that is a fairly strong champion in the middle lane, but I think that actually is a directed ban towards STO, as Kuja picks up the Elise first for his team. Now, keep in mind here, ladies and gentlemen, Lowland Lions are actually running 2 substitutes, as some of their members are studying for exams.
Yeah, indeed, and these are pretty much like new lineups for both of these teams. Like Kuja, Shaco, Law are players who have been on different teams. So during this EOS Challenger Series, we've actually had a lot of new teams which have kind of formed off the back of other teams reforming because of the new season. So we'll see where everyone falls, but Kuja, Shaco, Law are exceptionally good players. Airwax as well, we've seen a little bit as well. And we'll just see how this one goes. But Lowland Lions, with their 2 subs, we don't necessarily see Lowland Lions go all the way to the end of a tournament in EOS Challenger Series from what we've seen. We'll see if these roster changes, at least for the short term, can do work for them. But as you mentioned, Elise will be the first pickup, which is a fairly safe pickup when it comes up into the jungle. She, I should say, is exceptionally good at just controlling the jungle, one versus one-ing most common junglers at the moment, leaving Evelynn open. But Evelynn into Elise, like if Elise reads where Evelyn's going to go, there's no way that Evelynn can 1 versus 1 Elise in the early game.
Risky pick right there, as you said, for Lowland Lions. You pick the Sivir as well, as right now we do have, of course, the Caitlyn, well, not quite, of course, being picked up for STO, as we do see a lot of Lucians these days as well. But then again, Caitlyn is maybe a little more of a comfort pick than anything else, as Airwax has picked his team up the Gragas, so the fat man in the middle lane.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there, Nature. It's more of a comfort pick than anything. Caitlyn is not considered to be in like the top 3 AD carries at the moment. They're generally more of those mid-game AD carries where Caitlyn kind of dips down. So you're looking at the likes of Lucian, also Sivir as well. But what Caitlyn still brings to the table is incredibly good pushing potential and seeding potential, which the common AD carries at the moment don't do all that much of. They're very good in team fights, but because of the way the new meta is, team fights are even more important. They were always important, and I was talking to Stress about this yesterday, but the fact that basically games will revolve around them, because taking an inhibitor or taking that big objective, which usually starts to close out the game, is not as prevalent anymore. So you need to keep going for those team fights, and Caitlyn only really offers that team fight potential later on into the game or very early game when you're in laning phase. So in terms of that, yes, they'll have good pushing potential, but force them into a team fight, they're going to have a weaker team fight in the mid game.
Alright, so right now Lowland Lions picking up the Riven, actually, which surprises me a little because we do not see that too much these days, aside from that Riven in the middle lane occasionally. And Crow is looking to pick up the Thresh for their substitute Roldo, as we do have still STO looking to maybe think about their picks a little longer, because of course they really want to react to that Riven. But to be honest, I think it's kind of hard to predict at this point where the Riven is going, because we have seen such a lot of Rivens that go to that middle lane these days, as Yuki is looking to pick up the Orianna.
That's true. I mean, the fact that Ziggs has been banned out, and Ziggs is quote-unquote the hard counter to Riven, and with that banned off, there's no way they can pick up against her. Also, Gragas has also been picked up, so Riven is viable in the mid lane or the top lane, and mid lane is also still open for the pickup of STO. So we'll see what they bring out, but Riven is, at this stage, safe. as a pick, and already will start kind of to force these lane swap-ups. Because you cannot just allow Riven to go one-on-one, especially in a lane against someone like Orianna as well. That just won't work out for them. I'm looking at their lineup, and it looks like Orianna will be locked in.
Yeah, she's locked in.
Yeah, so that means that I assume that's Elise support, because that's interesting, Nature. Do we have any placeholders? I'm going to assume no, because these are all viable champions in the meta, but we're going to have to spend some time analyzing this.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what is actually going to happen here. I don't believe I've actually ever seen a Gragas jungle. Or well, I've seen some, but those were not working out quite well, as Kuja switches out and gets the Gragas in the end. So it is indeed going to be an Elise jungle, and I'm not too sure what is actually going to be their support in this lineup, as on the other side we do have Morsu picking up one of his favorite champions, the Kha'Zix.
Yeah, indeed. I'm going to spend a little time talking about STO's composition. LowLandLions makes a little more sense. It's more assassin-based, but it's more binary compared to a composition where STO, they have Shaco Law and Orianna, so I'm going to assume that it's going to be Orianna support, which can definitely work. She's got exceptional trading potential just in the middle lane, and then when you just take her outside of that into bot lane, then you've got the shielding potential, the extra armor and magic resist, which is an underrated stat and pretty invisible stat people don't really think about, on top of command protect, and she's got pretty good harassment capabilities. Unconventional supports at the moment are very strong. Her auto attacks ramp up in damage, so we'll see how this one goes. But with Annie being available, I'm not sure whether Orianna is a superior pick to something like Annie.
Yeah, so we will be heading into a quick commercial break, but before we do that, we do have to remind you that you can bet on the upcoming Challenger series as well as we play invitational games. So type !bet to get over to that website Esports Venture and place your bets right there. Now we will be heading into a quick commercial break. When we come back, LowLandLions and STO take it out to the Rift.
Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to EUS Challenger Series number 16 with STO and LowLandLions. I am Pulse, and I'm joined by Nature. How's it going, man?
It is going pretty well. Now, it is going a little bit better than it was 1 hour ago, because 1 hour ago I was a little bored because of the forfeit of the team in question. Now, we do have a Gragas support here confirmed, so this is going to be interesting.
Yeah, indeed, and we have everyone just moving around. I believe the ball just scouted the entire team of LowLandLions out. They will all be backing off. So we were having a little bit of discussion about Gragas, and I was looking at him on the wiki. It's like, okay, well, the attack speed debuff is really strong, but in terms of trading against someone like Fresh, picking a melee support is really quite risky. You don't have the ability to poke them down. You've got Caitlyn, yes, but Caitlyn has a good laning phase, but Gragas doesn't necessarily complement that. At level 6, they have good engage, but Caitlyn does not fare well in trade situations. She's not a trading AD carry such as Lucian, Draven, the rest of those types of AD carries. So I'm not entirely sure what they're looking for here. We'll just have to see how it goes. I can see the potential, but based on picks and based on what we can see from the paper, it looks a little bit dodgy.
Yeah, it surely does. Meanwhile, we do have Metalex and Roldo hanging around in that tribush to maybe go for a little cheeky pick right there. Now, it is going to be tough for them to do that. Now we do have Kuja rather, and Yuki heading over there. This might be dodgy. Good boomerang blade gets a little bit of damage down. Well, exhaust immediately lands on Metalex. Roldo gets a good death sentence off on towards Kuja, and that is a fairly even trade, but I feel like STO came out ahead on that one.
Yeah, like STO came out ahead in a very odd trade. Like Kuja's on Gragas actually thrives in situations where they will just be trading blows, and it was a little odd to me that LowLandLions just allowed them to get into that situation, because what makes Gragas support strong, from what we've not seen at all, is that in a 2 versus 2 where everyone's just hitting each other, he will come out ahead because he has a natural steroid. He also has the attack speed buff. Or debuff rather, so in laning phase they will be poked down, but that slight early advantage will be a bit of a cushion to allow Gragas to do his job.
Alright, so Kuja getting flayed back here, taking a little bit of poke once again, but no real lethal stuff happening just yet. And in the middle lane it is actually going to be that Riven versus the Orianna. Now, I'm not too sure whether Orianna can actually fight this one, because well, she might be better against Riven than the Gragas, but then again, I feel like the Riven is just going to outdamage her in the end.
Yeah, Riven can very easily close on Orianna, and Orianna will find it very difficult to get to the backline minions, as we can see right now. Oax is coming into support, and we'll be looking for this gank as well.
Yeah, and Volatile Spider comes out. He has the red buff proc. Here comes Shaco, forced to flash to the kill, but he will not be able to pick that up in the end. Shaco takes a turret shot to the face. Meanwhile, on that bottom lane, we do have a gank coming out of Crow. Crow takes a whole lot of damage. Turret shots will connect, and he is sitting on a 30 health right now, so he barely survives. But he did pull off quite a successful gank, and Kuja and Yuki are quite low right now.
Yeah, both of the junglers dropping incredibly low. Morsu actually going ham on the top lane.
Yeah, he is forcing the leap strike out of Gob, and Gob will be getting out of there successfully. Now Morsu is getting a little bit of free farm, so he is going to be happy with that.
Yeah, indeed. So lots of action, but no first blood just yet. And that kind of just shows exactly how the junglers want to be playing this game. And I feel like Elise is doing the right thing and going for these ganks, but counter ganking and reading your opponent will definitely pay dividends as he comes behind Morsu. Nowhere really to run.
Yeah, Morsu trying to turn this one around, is forced to leap in the end. I don't think he's actually going to be able to get out of here, as we do have the Fangs sinking in. Morsu trying to turn this one around. Can he do it? No, he can't. Arax picks up the kill, and that is first blood going over to STO.
Trying to turn it around with the minion aggro, but wasn't quite enough. Everyone actually coming in from behind. Level 3 versus 2 level 4s. I think you need to reconsider what you're doing here. Unless they split up, this could be good for Evelyn. And Jax is going to carry on pushing, but even level 5 and this HP, Jax will 1 versus 1 anyone.
Yeah, Crow is a little bit hesitant here, as he does decide to just defend the turret rather than up straight, or gank up straight, as he will be just defending that turret, as I said, so no real gank happening here. Morsu has returned, so he will be picking up the farm, and Crow will be returning to that jungle. Now, meanwhile, in that bottom lane, nothing really happening quite yet, as we will be keeping our eyes on that, because we are fairly, well, interested in this Gragas support pick and how that is going to work out. And it is working out quite well for them so far, but then again, the game is only 6 minutes in.
Yeah, so generally you'll pick a support for like 2 reasons: lane dominance, or you'll pick someone like Karma, who is not so good in lane, but has huge utility when it comes into the mid and late game. Gragas does suit the team composition in terms of disruption and kind of just disrupting those assassins, so as long as he can escape the laning phase and do decently well and allow Caitlyn to farm it on out, which she's being out-farmed at the moment, but it's more about that Gragas pick doing well. I Am Heat gets locked up and taken down in the mid lane before we could really do any of the play-by-play, but Crow actually going to find himself Airwax.
Yeah, but Airwax is doing a whole lot of damage, but he might be in trouble himself. We do have the command for coming down. Shockwave with his whiffs. We do have a whole lot of damage coming down on Crow. Cocoon doesn't quite connect, and Airwax will be turning this one around. He is on a killing spree, and that is 3-0 for the STO. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, Roldo picking up a kill. Oh, great death sentence coming in on towards Yuku. Yuki turning those one around. He will be picking up Metalex, but Roldo is going for the double kill. That is a double kill on the Thresh and 1 kill on Caitlyn.
Yeah. Yeah, and STO coming slightly ahead, but more so. Also drop slow, auto attack, leap strike, picks up another kill, and that'll be 5-2 all over the board here, Nature. And already, STO are looking really strong. And if we look at the kind of big picture, the team of LowLandLions, they need to get ahead. They're basically running 2 assassins. Riven can be classed as one, and looking at like Morsu as well, if they don't get ahead, then they do not have a snowball's chance in hell in winning these team fights, because they're against so much disruption in the form of Gragas, also looking at Jax and Lee's, and indeed the Shockwave. A pretty tanky lineup as well, and they will not be able to get those resets and instantly pop someone to keep going through a team fight. They can chase people down, they can disengage, but unless they're significantly ahead and are able to 100-0 a target before jumping on another, they'll hit serious problems when it comes into team fights.
And talking about serious problems, Morsu is having some in that top lane, as Gomb is seriously out-damaging him at this point, because as you said, you really cannot trade with a Jax, because he really has such a strong duelist. Morsu will be face-stacking that push, as he will be getting stunned up by the counter-strike. He's desperately trying to get out of there, but he is not going to be able to. And Gob finishing him off without real trouble. Now Roldo might be in trouble, as we do have Airwax and Kuja closing in on him quite quickly. Command Shockwave is available. Roldo flashes in the end. Airwax doesn't let him escape here, and that is yet another kill going over to STO.
And they just can't afford to allow all these kills to keep going into the hands of STO, because we've already mentioned how weak their team fight is if they don't get rolling. Their only 2 kills are on their support player, which great, he's hit that small spike in gold, which has allowed them to already pick up the Sightstone, which is good for the long term, but his rest of the team is really starting to flounder, and they just can't afford to let that happen. They do have good split pushing potential, I will definitely say that for their team. Sivir, especially Kha'Zix and Riven, can all split push, they can all build something like a Tiamat, apart from Sivir, who just needs to build like a normal AD carry and can split push like a king. But even then, it's very easy to counter that when you have duelists like Elise, like Jax to counter it. So no matter how the flow of this game goes, it seems like STO always have an answer.
Meanwhile, that middle lane gank coming in, but so is in the bottom lane. Here comes Crow, gets the good Agnes Embrace off, but it's not quite quite enough. We do have a great death sentence coming in there. That will be, well, delaying, and they do get out in the end. That is STO. No kills happening just yet. Meanwhile, on that top lane, we do have the Void Assault coming out. Morsu, can he turn this one around? Gob in real trouble. Leaf comes out, and Morsu picks up the kill on Gob.
Yeah, that was really unexpected, considering Jax is 2-0 on your lane opponent. He was so confident he picked up the Sheen. There was no need for him to go for Phage, and I just saw Kuji use the ultimate for wave clear, but like he was so confident that he would one-on-one Kha'Zix and actually got outplayed. That's really good. Like the fact that he was behind and managed to pick up the kill, they really need that, but they need to keep up the pace, because as soon as they start falling behind, they're going to find it incredibly hard to catch up again.
Now, meanwhile, in that middle lane, I'm Heat is at 17 CS behind, which is not a whole lot, but it is, well, 7 more than it was a couple of minutes ago. So that means Shaco is trying to extend his CS lead that he has, and I'm Heat is having a little bit of problem dealing with the Orianna, which I did not expect to be happening, to be honest, as we do have a little bit of a lull in the game, but we might have Shaco in trouble here, as we do have a Crow coming around the side. Is he going to go in here, as Shockwave is available? Shaco gets stunned up. We do have that blade of I'm Heat coming out. Shaco is forced to flash in the end. Here's Airwax, gets a great Shockwave off. I'm Heat forced to dodge out of there. Crow now desperately trying to get out as well, being forced to flash in the end. And that is no kills happening, but 2 flashes burn.
And that's why, yeah, Evelyn is finding it very difficult to do anything in this game because Airwax just needs to wander and just kind of saunter towards an engagement, and as soon as she arrives, Evelyn cannot trade against her. And because she wasn't able to get these big ganks off in the early game, because one, they just didn't work out, and Elise elsewhere was also picking up kills, then she's just hit the problem where in the mid game, she's actually pretty weak. She suffers from the same sort of problem as Caitlyn, except she's not an AD carry and finds it even harder to come back into the late game, because she's kind of got this parabolic power curve thing going on, where she's great in the early game because she can bypass those wards, late game again because she actually ramps up rapidly in damage, but they're really starting to lack tankiness as well. They do not have a way of keeping themselves alive. Bot lane gank.
Yeah, Pox came out. Is that going to be enough to save Metalix? It surely isn't looking like it. Activates his spell sheet. Is forced to flash in then. Here comes Crow. Gets a good Agnes Embrace off, but it surely isn't going to be enough to turn this one around. I mean, has joined the party as well. Is looking to close in on Shaco here. Shaco desperately trying to get up. I'm Heat burns his flash, gets stunned up by the cocoon. And that surely isn't the end of that. But once again, LowLandLions not coming out ahead.
Yeah, and you can just see LowLandLions' problem with the fact that they have 2 subs on their team. You can see that their rotations are not quite as crisp as STO's. Like, they're making big picture plays, everyone's moving in the right place, they all arrive at the right time because someone's making calls. But LowLandLions are very scattered in this game and are unable to really react well to everything that STO is doing. So we'll have to see what happens in the next couple of minutes. I feel like when it comes into these objectives, they're going to need to start fighting them. They can't continue to concede these objectives, but the fact they've had a pretty weak laning phase when they honestly shouldn't have because of their picks, they will find it very difficult to go for the right type of fights.
Alright, so right now 3 kills sitting on LowLandLions' board. That is 66% owned by Roldo, the support, which is not ideal, but then again it can happen in this new Season 4 patch. I'm Heat once again pushing out that middle lane. Shaco is then just going to clear those out. We do have the dragon being picked up already a couple of minutes ago by that STO team, and they are looking to push this bottom tower. Roldo and Metal X rather are going there rather quick, and it seems like they will be able to defend it.
Yeah, they'll be able to defend it, but they won't be able to do much more than that. And if any lane is going to kill the other lane, it should probably be the bot one. Because the duo lane of Fresh and Metal X should be able to outtrade the Gragas and Caitlyn, at least pre-6, even past 6. Caitlyn does not trade off well against most AD carries. Morsu's going to find himself caught though in the top river.
Uses the Void Assault, but here comes a good Shockwave. He is desperately trying to get over here. Here is I'm Heat to help him to do so as he gets jumped on by the Leap Strike. I'm Heat, or Morsu rather, is going to get out of there. I'm Heat is as well, but that did allow Airwax to get a little bit of free reign in the jungle of the LowLandLions, as it is looking like they might just be looking for a gank in that bottom lane. Roldo maybe looking for a cheeky little death sentence there, but it isn't looking like they will be able to do so.
Yeah, and there's another 10 seconds left on Dragon, but they're going to be engaged in bot lane.
Yeah, Explosive Cask come out, as we do have that Agnes Embrace coming out as well. Boomerang Blade greatly used. We do have the, what was it called again? The Ace and Hole coming out as well. Crow going down. That is a double kill for Yuki. Now looking for the triple on MetaX. Is it going to be it? Yeah, there you have it. Triple kill for Yuki. STO looking very strong.
That was literally worst case scenario as Iron Heat turns the corner. Shaco Lol knows exactly where he's at. Top lane will fall as well. They're just picking advantage all over the map. They knew that they were going to commit at least the jungler to around the dragon area, so everyone was on high alert. 3 versus 2 trades and coming out with a triple kill meant that Airwax didn't even need to go to the bottom lane and can still stay in the top lane for Morsu.
Taunt comes out, Morsu being forced to flash. Is it going to be enough? It surely isn't looking like it as Airwax picks up the kill. No real problem for him. He is on a rampage right now. And they are looking to take down this tier 2 top turret. But here comes Crow and here comes I'm Heat. Will he get the stun off? Yes, he will. Gob being forced to flash himself. He goes down to I'm Heat. That is the 4th kill for LowLandLions. Surely isn't going to be enough to get them back in this game, but it's something.
Yeah, it was kind of a drop in the ocean at this stage with 3 towers down. Eric's going to find him. I'm Heat as well. Even the jungler is able to completely decimate him.
Yeah, I'm Heat taking a whole lot of damage. He's being chased down by the spider. And of course, Orianna, he is not going to be able to get out of there as he was looking to flash over that wall, or maybe use his broken wings to get over that wall, as he did almost manage to do so, not quite in the end. Good death sentence coming down on Airwax here, being flayed back. Here's Crow, maybe looking to get a little bit more damage down on him, but he does get out, and Crow not being able to pick up the kill yet again.
And we're in the stage in the game here, Nature, where you would generally say to yourself, well, one team, which is going to be LowLandLions, either need to store or make some sort of god play, or go into a lane and try and split push, but they do not have duelers to do so, not itemizing towards that path either. Kha'Zix is not looking towards the Tiamat, neither really is Riven. They're looking just to be stronger duelists, and that I'm not sure of the right itemization choice, because at the moment they're not hitting those big item spikes. Right now Rabadon's F cap has already been picked up by Orianna. Infinity Edge by Caitlyn at 16 minutes is absurd, and they will just not be able to trade against that. Going for more not necessarily unconventional builds, but smarter builds such as Tiamat, being able to push out these waves might just buy them enough time to either push down these turrets or just give them some more wave clear, because apart from Sivir, yes, they can clear these waves very efficiently, but Sivir has to be in the right position, because we've got 2 melee carries in these other lanes. Morsu's going to find himself God, but I don't think he can win this trade. In fact, he can't. They're constantly having to play out the defensive, and as a result, they're going to find it very difficult. They might have to concede this dragon, and they can't afford to lose another player.
Yeah, good explosive cast. No, they are looking to finish this one, or they follow this one up on Crow. As I was looking to say, ooh, Flash being burned by I'm Heat there. He might have been looking for a kill, but he was looking to do that against a team of 4 players on his own, so he will not be able to do so. Now we do have STO starting off this dragon, and I don't think LowLandLions can actually do something about it. Ace in the hole comes out, Roldo not taking a whole lot of damage. They are going in towards Kuja. Agony's Embrace coming out. Airwax takes a whole lot of damage. 2-man shockwave. That is going to be a double kill. 1 kill being picked up by Yuki. That is 3 kills already. Airwax looking for that 4th kill on towards Crow. Crow desperately trying to juke it out, but here comes the Cocoon. He will be able to do so, and that is, well, one of the only 2 remaining members on the LowLandLions team.
And this is exactly what we were saying before, and Morsu was also forced back. They cannot teamfight against this, even on an even playing field, not being 10k behind at 18 minutes. They cannot just trade blow for blow with this team, and they're still having to because they can't concede objectives. They're into this predicament where there is no right answer to it because of how the early game has gone here, Nature. So I just don't see an out for LowLandLions. They kind of just put themselves into a corner with their picks, and either they get to super late game by somehow stalling this out, but when you have a Caitlyn on the enemy team who's had a pretty good laning phase, Gragas has actually now survived it as well. He's also picked up the Morella Nomicon. He's felt so safe. They're just snowballing ahead in terms of items, in terms of objectives, and just general map pressure. So LowLandLions might just need to start analyzing the next game and what they need to change.
Yeah, they certainly need to do that if they want to well, make any chance in getting back in this series. Shaco Lol is standing, facing off against a laughing I'm Heat here in that middle lane, but I don't feel like there's anything to laugh about on the LowLandLions side, as they are going to be picking up the blue buff. One of the, well, one of the objectives that they are being allowed by the STO team. Kuja gets a good explosive cast. Meanwhile, on the top lane, you Morsu taking a whole lot of damage, going down to Gob in the end. That is really not a problem for Gob. And as you said, he's becoming, well, maybe too much to handle for LowLandLions at this point.
Yeah, there's too many big threats on the board that are just being left unchecked. Airwax has done some exceptional ganks in the early game, and is quite happy just to build tank, picking up the Sork Shoes as well. All he really needs for damage is just magic penetration. We'll start to pick up the Haunting Guys as well, but at the moment, being so incredibly tanky means there's no way they can make that commitment to focus him down, and at the same time, no one has really touched the Jax lane, and he's becoming a monster himself. 3-2-2, 150 CS is okay, but he's already got the Trinity Forces itemized perfectly against that mid lane or top lane, and the only feasible way to duel him out is probably Evelynn, and she is having a horrible game as well. They've just cornered themselves with their picks.
Yeah, they have indeed. Now, meanwhile, that bottom inner turret falling, that is the 5th turret falling in favor of STO, and they really aren't looking to stop here. Yuki getting a little bit of damage down on Metal X. Ace and O comes out. That is not going to be enough to finish him off. That is going to be enough to force him back. Low getting caught by the death sentence box coming out. Heat desperately trying to finish off Gob here, but he is way too tanky. Great shockwave to pull into. Now Airwax stunning up Heat. Morsu being forced to jump out. Crow taken down for the double kill as Heat is desperately trying to get out, but it is not looking to be enough, as that is 3-4-0, and that is 3-4-1 rather, and that is not what LowLandLions wanted.
Yeah, actually Yuki just jumps back into the turret, but he's trading off against Metal X.
Yeah. Ooh, wow! Great double kill right there coming out of Morsu just by jumping on 2 of those guys. And one kill picked up by Morsu rather, and one by Metal X. So that is maybe a little bit of a consolidation price right there for LowLandLions, as he is looking to try and finish off Yuka here, Kuija rather. But it is really not going to be enough, or is it? Oh, yes, it is. And that is the turret doing work for Morsu there.
Yeah, but that was definitely the support trading off well against one of their assassins, which is not what you want from your top laner, who should have been farming all game, and especially when the support has had a pretty good laning phase as well. So 22-8. There's very little that LowLandLions can do at that point. The only reason they came off well in that last team fight was because of STO getting a little overconfident. They made this huge brute force play, and then it was a great counter play by Morsu, but in the future they just won't let that happen. It's very easy for STO to salvage and just make the right call in the future. But had that gone perfectly well and that being a 5-0 ace, then the game probably would have been over there and then. Just the fact that LowLandLions were able to mop up shows that they're still in this game, if very, very tentatively.
Yeah, I'm not too sure whether they would come out reasonable in the end when a 5 versus 5 would break out. But then again, we are just going to have to see. Maybe we will see some 6 plays here coming in on towards Gob. Is looking to stun up Crow. Crow taking a whole lot of damage. Morsu desperately trying to finish off Gob here, as he is picking up the Crow, as that is going to be the double kill for Gob. You really cannot fight him at this point, and in the meantime they are sieging this inhibitor turret. Roldo desperately trying to defend this one. Metal X gets caught. Shockwave comes in. He gets demolished. We do have Imi desperately trying to defend his teammates, being forced to flash in the end. Good death sentence comes out, but it's really not going to be enough, as we do have him being finished off as well. The only remaining member on the LowLandLions team here, Roldo, is taking an ace in the hole to the face, and he is going to survive that. And we have actually the surrender vote coming out.
Yeah, not really that surprising. LowLandLions really just need to reconsider what they do in not only Champion Select, but with their early game. Like, from picks alone, they should have a decent lane.